I am winning on all fronts limitlessly.
I have made tremendous improvement at work through delegating and empowering teams.
We started with the law of intentionality, which specifically makes it clear that growth cannot just happen. You have to be intentional about your growth.
CTO Africa Leadership brings you the Grow Journey, a series of masterclasses based on John C. Maxwell's book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. In this 10-week virtual growth accelerator, you will acquire the skills to thrive and flourish as you evolve into a more impactful and fulfilled individual. You will master the art of personal and professional development as you craft and execute your customized growth plan. Limited seats available. Register now for the next cohort.
Hey there, join the next cohort of CTL Ghana's growth journey.
The next cohort is coming on. Get involved and your life will never
Hello and good evening from Accra to you wherever you are in the world. This is the Leadership Platform. It's powered by CTL Africa Leadership. I want you to just think about a leader you've admired. What made them stand out for you? Was it their vision? Was it their charisma? Or was it how they made you feel? In today's session, we're going to be discovering some amazing tips from a very special guest on how successful leaders leave positive memories. And I hope you stay with us through to the end. Just feel free to introduce yourself in the chat and we will be happy to announce you to the world. My name is Joy Bonsu-Schmutz. I'm going to be your host for this evening. All right, so I'm having a few introductions come up in the chat. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Over the next 1 hour, we're going to be diving deep into this topic, and I hope that you would be interactive, you would be engaging with us as we go along. So before we get into our session for today, here are just a few quick reminders for you. CTL Africa Leadership and our host partners are getting ready for Live to Lead. Listen, if you haven't yet got your ticket or secured your slot, you are running out of time. On the 4th of October, we're going to be gathering at the UPSA Auditorium for an amazing 8th edition of Live to Lead in Ghana. So please do not waste any much time. We're going to drop the link in the comment section for you to register for either a virtual pass or a hybrid pass. Get together, let's gather as leaders for this day full of energy, inspiration, momentum, and take your leadership to a whole new level. We have some of our partners that are already pinned their slot down: Bank of Africa, UBA, Heritage Christian College, Village of Hope. They are coming in their numbers, so you wouldn't want to miss out. Join other leaders to be inspired. This is a John C. Maxwell conference where he has handpicked some speakers, and we are also bringing some amazing thought leaders from Ghana to speak into this conference. So we are looking forward to seeing you. Don't miss this. Don't miss this for the world. Okay, all right. So I see PAK Odro, who Mr. Okuoku from Kwewu and Kwetia joining us for this wonderful program. You are welcome. Welcome to the Leadership Platform. All right, so I'll go straight into introducing our guest for tonight, who is going to be speaking from her heart. This is a friend to CTL, and we're happy to introduce her all the way from Nigeria. We're looking forward to having a very interactive session. Dr. Teresa Ekaete. Oh gosh, the name has a lot of weight, people. So just let me take it easy on the name. Dr. Teresa Ekaete, and then let me see how I try to master the surname in Nwachkwu. Did I get it right? In Nwachkwu. All right. So Dr. Teresa has an amazing story she's going to be sharing with us tonight. She's a medical doctor, a public health leader, and a specialist when it comes to communication and presentation. And you would want to just meet her. We're going to just get a bit into her story and what she has to share for us today. So keep the comments coming in, keep the introductions coming in. I see David as well, so keep them coming in. So Doc, I want to welcome you to the leadership platform. Good evening.
Good evening, Joy.
Welcome. It's good to have you finally. I know it was a very short notice, but thank you for gracing us with your presence and doing us the honors, because this is a very important subject, how leaders can leave a positive or lasting memory. That's very important. So, Doc, we'd like to get to know you just a little bit more. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you've been doing in the last. I know you've been a medical doctor for over about 30 years. Very impressive. So please tell us a little bit so that our audience can get to know you.
Thank you so much, Joy, and thank you for this invitation. Like you said, we've been planning this for quite a while. So yes, I am a medical doctor. I've been practicing clinical medicine for so many years, and then in the last about a decade now, I went into public health, and that's what I do now. I've worked as an epidemiologist and currently working as the acting director of Health Research Planning and Statistics in my organization. And in my spare time or in my other life, I am a leadership enthusiast. I love the subject of leadership because I've found out that a lot of things rely on leadership. When things fail or when things succeed, it's all about the leadership that drives that process. So I founded Steps to the Top Leadership Center 2011, and that platform we help young people to begin to gain the competencies of leadership, how to set goals for themselves, how to create a personal vision, how to create a mission for themselves, for their lives, how to communicate, to empathize. All of those simple competencies that when you put together, the building blocks that make up what leadership is. So that's what I've done so for young people, for women, and for especially for women with disabilities. That is the space that we have gone into in the last couple of years, because we also found that these population of women with disabilities have peculiar challenges, especially with self-confidence, with accepting who they are and thriving in that challenge, right? So that has been an amazing thing. That has been beautiful, and of course, here we are.
Here we are. Thank you so much. Just letting us into a little bit about your life. Maybe let me ask, we all have this jollof situation going on between Ghana and Nigeria. So which one would you say is better, Ghanaian jollof or Nigerian jollof?
I think I have to be honest, I haven't really eaten Ghanaian jollof rice. So until I eat that, I will not be able to say. But for now, I have to stand behind Nigerian jollof rice. When next I come to Ghana, I'm going to specifically look out for Ghanaian jollof rice, and then I'll be honest, right?
You'll be honest.
I will be honest.
Don't worry, you will be my guest.
Well.
Don't worry. You'll be my guest for Ghanaian jollof. Awesome,
Right.
awesome. So, Doc, we're going to give you the floor. The audience are ready. Please feel free to take notes, share your learnings as we go along in the chat session, and then let's have an amazing learning experience. So, Doc, over to you.
Thank you so much, Joy, and welcome everyone. Thank you for spending this time with us. You know, in May of this year, 2024, at our district conference that had over 17 countries in attendance, one of the sessions, the facilitator asked the participants to go out there and just talk to anybody, talk to some strangers, someone you haven't spoken to before in the course of the conference. And so we asked to speak to 3 people. And I had spoken to 2 people, and then the last person I spoke to was Sam. And I just walked up to him and I said, "Oh, what's your name? Where do you come from?" And we began to talk about lots of things. And one of the things that we connected on was the whole idea of leadership. And of course, he shared the story about the leadership platform, and that got my attention immediately. And of course, I also shared with him about Steps to the Top Leadership Center. And between May and today, I have engaged with the leadership platform almost every Saturday because I get those links and I log in on YouTube and I listen in and I participate. And looking back at that conference, all I can think of was I must have met hundreds of people. This was a conference of over 700 people. I must have introduced myself to over at least 100 people in the course of 5 days. And I'm sure Sam did the same. So what was it about Sam, the leadership platform, and his story that was memorable? What was it about that story that got me intrigued enough to stay engaged with the leadership platform up till this day that I have an opportunity to feature on the leadership platform? So today, that chance meeting, has brought us to this point. And I think this is a word for someone out there. If you have an opportunity to talk to somebody new, to talk to a stranger, you never know what doors can open if you just allow that process to unfold. So today we are exploring why some leaders are forgettable and others memorable, right? That's what we want to talk about today. And being memorable in this context doesn't mean flitting across someone's mind, because over the years, over centuries, we know leaders of nations, leaders of conglomerates, leaders of teams and projects who flit through our minds, but who we don't really remember on a long-term basis. They just pass through our minds. We don't focus on them. We don't pay attention to them. So what is it about those people? So being memorable in this context means that long after you have left a project, long after you have left a seat, a position, a team, you are still quoted, you are still remembered, you're still celebrated, you're still emulated, and people still remember the contributions you made, such that the legacy you left behind, the structures you left behind still stand in some form or the other. I love the fact that one of the quotes that was used to promote this event was that your legacy is not only what you leave behind, but what you leave in people, right? What you leave in people. This is very interesting, very important, because for over 13 years, I have had the opportunity to study and learn and talk about leadership in one way or the other. And so that legacy today, I'm here to share with you what makes some leaders memorable and what makes some leaders forgettable. So I invite you, like Joyce said, to take some notes, get ready to ask questions, and let's just interact in the session. I'll be watching out for some of those nuggets, right? At the end of this 40 minutes or 30 minutes, you're going to learn 4 things that I think make leaders memorable. And of course, I think the very first thing would be just having the whole idea of what leadership is about. Knowing exactly what it means to be a leader. Like I shared with Joy earlier on, everything rises and falls on leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. So do you understand what leadership is? Now, the intriguing thing about leadership is that it is not something you can touch. You can't touch leadership. You can't see it physically. It's not like a tangible thing that you can touch. But you will know when leadership exists in a team. You will know when leadership exists in a room. When you walk into a room, you will know if there's leadership there. When you're in a country, you can tell whether there's leadership going on or not. So while leadership may not be seen or touched, you can perceive there are certain things that will be in place that allows you to know that leadership is going on in some form or the other. Like CCL would say, Center for Creative Leadership, leadership is like a muscle, and the more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. There's so many models of leadership, and today I'm going to share the DSC model of leadership, which is taught by CCL. I love this because I use it in my youth programming. And what I love about it is that, like an accordion, you can expand it to rule a kingdom, or you can shrink it to conduct a birthday party. It's a model that allows you to be yourself and to really be innovative in the things that you do. So what's the DSC model of leadership, which is one of the first things that allow you to be memorable as a leader? The D is for direction. A good leader is somebody who is very clear about the direction he's taking people to. What's the goal? What's the purpose? What's the mission? What's the vision? Where are you going and where are you taking people to? Not knowing that will become obvious in good time. If you don't know where you're taking people, it is just like a blind person leading blind people. So one of the most critical things in leadership is the leader knowing the direction that he's taking people to. And not just knowing that direction, but communicating that direction in real time as often and as effectively as possible to everyone in their team, such that everyone is on the same page. Everyone can recite the mantra, the vision, the goal, because the leader has been clear enough to communicate that goal. So the ability to not just have a vision or a goal, but to communicate that. That would make you memorable. The A of the DSC model of leadership is the alignment, aligning the resources. What do you need to achieve these goals? What do you need? What kind of resources, what kind of things do you need? It could be people, a team, your capacity to really bring all of the resources that you need as and when you need them is a power that very few people have. So you might have, so that's why sometimes people don't know how to delegate, because they don't even know the resources they have at their disposal. If you don't recognize the resource in your team, the skills that people have, and how to make use of those skills, you might not be an effective leader. And finally, the second component, excuse me, the C component of thank you. The C component of the DSC model is, Joy, can you take over while I take a little bit break?
Yes. Just take a moment,
Give me a moment.
and then just take some water. Okay. All right. So we've just put a few of the comments. So for D for direction and then A for alignment, we've just dropped that in the chat. Okay. So you can just share how that is resonating with you, and then we'll have Dr. Teresa join us back shortly. Okay. Hello, Doc.
All right. Yes. Thank you for that. Thank
Very
you.
good. All right.
Right. So the C component of the DSC model has to do with staying the path, staying committed to what you have decided that you're going to do. So having a vision and a goal is one thing. Staying committed to that vision is another thing. And what happens in most instances is that people give up when they meet challenges, when they meet hurdles, when they meet barriers, and things don't seem to be working. People tend to give up. The leader who is memorable is that leader who will stay committed and who will take people through the rough parts to the promised land, so to say. So that is the first part of the memorable leader. Leaders who leave a positive impact and a memorable impact in the mind or in the psyche of their people. So think about it. Have you ever worked in a team where the leader seemed clueless? Right? You can put that in the chat box. The leader didn't seem to know where they were going. Nobody seemed to have an idea what was happening in the team. Have you ever worked in that kind of team? And how did that make you feel? For you to stay memorable, it is important that you know your team, you know your objectives, you know your goals, you have your visions, and you communicate this clearly to your team. You also know how to harness every resource that is available to you, whether it's money, whether it's training, whether it's people. Your capacity to harness and use those resources effectively will make you memorable. And of course, staying committed to the team and to the vision. And so, the second point in things that memorable leaders do is connecting with people on a very personal level. Now, memorable leaders rub against others. Write that down. Memorable leaders rub against others. What do I mean by this? I was at a closeout event of an organization. This was a 5-year project, and this project had ended successfully, and the organization gathered and they were celebrating the closeout of this ceremony. And while we were sitting at the table, the conversation started. Apparently, this project leader or the project manager wasn't the person who started that project in 2019. And so I remember that on the table, they started to talk about the person who started that project. And nobody could remember her name. Somebody said, oh, it was Gloria. The other person said, no, it was Gladys. And they just kept bantering. Do you remember what was her name, the person who started this project? And I was surprised that within a few short years, nobody seemed to remember someone who had been the brain behind that project. And why were there no stories? Why were there no anecdotes? Why were there no stories about this person, their peculiarities, the things they did, and why were they so forgettable in so short a time? And the only thing I could think of was that this must have been a leader who was an island unto themselves. This must have been a leader who was aloof. And even though they were surrounded by an incredible team, they were on their own. They didn't engage. They didn't stay engaged with people. They didn't get to know people on a personal level. They didn't seem to rub off on people or rub against people in any way. And that sounded so sad because for this project, this person should have been celebrated as somebody who started this project. And so it occurred to me that one of the great things that we can do as leaders is to get to know people on a deep and personal level. You always reflect to them and stay with them. Now, do you know people like that? Do you have any idea of someone who just flits through a team, doesn't engage in any way, right? They come in the morning, they tell everybody, hello, good morning. They go to their desk, they mind their business. At the end of the day, they go off. They don't know what is happening in the lives of any other person in the team. Do you know anybody like that? Are you someone like that? That, I guarantee you, will not make you a memorable leader. When you leave that team, people will not remember you. So, your capacity to bring humanity into your interactions, to lead a team with vulnerability, the capacity to connect beyond the workspace, beyond the officialness of the team, is what will keep you at the forefront of the minds of people long after you have gone. So your capacity to share yourself and share in the triumphs, in the successes, in the challenges of others in your team is what makes you human. It is what makes you it is what makes people relate to you beyond that workspace, and it is what makes people go back home and think about you, so that long after you're gone, they remember who you were, especially because of how you made them feel. So, do you remember people's names in your team? Do you remember their anniversaries, their birthdays? Do you show up at people's graduation or their kids' graduation? Do you show up in their homes when they have something to celebrate? How do you engage with your team beyond the officialness of the day? This is what will make you memorable. And so, if you want people to keep telling stories about you long after you are gone, you must be able to tell the story of who you are by getting into their lives. And that brings me to my next point of memorable leaders. Memorable leaders are great storytellers. One of the most exciting things or incredible stories that we know is the story of Solomon, King Solomon, right? And of course, we know so many stories about Solomon, but I'm always fascinated about his story of troubleshooting the quarrel between two women who were arguing about the motherhood of a baby. Now, I imagine that Solomon himself must have told this story to so many people. I sometimes imagine kings from other nations coming to visit Solomon, and how Solomon would tell the story of these two women that came, and how he used wisdom, to sort that situation. Now, telling that story, I am sure Solomon told these stories to different dignitaries, to different kings and different queens who came to his kingdom. And by telling this story, he perpetuated that sense of being wise and that sense of being knowledgeable. And this story, I think, would make us remember Solomon more than crunching numbers, more than telling how many cases he was able to judge, right? So your capacity to tell stories about your successes, your capacity to tell stories about your challenges, your triumphs, the things that you have done, is what will make you remember. People remember you because people may not remember the numbers, people may not remember the data, people may not remember the all of the fine details that we show on our PowerPoint presentations, but people remember stories. And so when you use stories to talk about the things you have done, people will remember you. Especially if you're skillful in your storytelling to the point that you are not the hero of your story. Remember, in the stories you tell, and this comes in communication, you shouldn't be the hero of your stories. What do I mean by that? Craig Valentine says, when you lift yourself up, you let your audience down, or you let your team down. Whenever you tell stories of what you have accomplished, of what you have done, of what your successes have been like, remember to deflect the glory to your team, deflect the glory to your delegates, deflect the glory to the resources that you had. What books did you read that helped you? What support did you have that helped you? What mentors did you have that helped you? When you have the capacity to tell your story and say, oh, I succeeded in doing this, but I was able to do this because of this mentor, because of this person who helped me, your story becomes more authentic, because then you're not taking the glory, you're deflecting the glory to your team, and you're sharing that accolades with them. And so not only are you memorable or you remembered, but also people remember that you made them feel good for being a part of your success story. So tell your story. If you had incredible success, tell that story. If you solved a difficult problem, tell that story. If you overcame a challenge that was really huge, tell that story. People will remember you. Because if you don't, it's harder for people to think your exploits long after you have gone. All right? So that brings me to the next character of memorable leaders, and that is leaders who leave positive memories shine the spotlight on others. Leaders who leave positive memories shine the spotlight on others. You see, there's a saying that the sun is hardly ever in the shadows, right? Because the sun shines on everything. The sun shines on you and me, it shines on the trees, on the oceans, on everything, right? And so usually it is the thing the sun shines on that gives a shadow, right? Only rarely in some geographical phenomena do we have the sun actually being shadowed, right? So whoever shines the spotlight on others is never in the shadow. So never think that by shining the spotlight on someone else that you have dimmed your light. A candle that is lit is never does not lose its brightness. A candle that is lit does not lose its strength or its power, right? So you never lose anything by projecting someone else. You lose nothing by lifting someone else up. As a matter of fact, you can only lift someone up if you are on top, right? So, how do you feel when you are with people who take all of the accolades, who take all of the glory for work that was done in a team? How did that make you feel? Probably not very good, right? Probably not very good. And it's the same thing. The exact way you feel when you work with a team leader who uses that it's the I did this, I want this done, I will do this, I will go here. It kind of diminishes everyone else in the team. It does. It devalues everyone else's contribution. So the leader who is memorable is the one who remembers people by name, is the leader who will get up to shake people's hands and give them a seat and shine the spotlight on them, make them feel good about themselves, make other people feel good about themselves. I know someone who embodies that. Many of us have to learn to do that. But I know someone who is very good at that. When you're in his company, he makes you feel so good about yourself. He makes you feel like you are a hero. He makes you feel like you could do anything. And so you always want to go back into that environment because they validate you, they lift you up, they inspire you, they motivate you. You have to be that kind of leader. That and only that way do you stay memorable, do you stay remembered, do you stay in the mind and at the forefront of people. So the secret then, like the sun, is to shine your light on others, to be deliberate in treating people well, to be deliberate in finding out value about others, to be deliberate in sharing opportunities with other people, telling them what is great about them, pointing to them, allowing them to see what is inside of them. Because sometimes people don't see the beauty in themselves until somebody else tells them. You will agree with me that many of us listening, many of you listening right now, the skills that you have, the what you know about yourself that is what somebody else told you, right? Somebody comes and say, "Oh, you're really great at doing this. You're really great. I love your voice." And sometimes, because of that imposter syndrome, we don't think so well about ourselves until someone sees beyond our barriers, somebody sees beyond our frailties and our weaknesses, and then shines a spotlight on us and says, "You know what, you're really great at doing this." And if they say that often enough, we begin to believe it. And that is when the beauty, that is when that greatness that is within us begins to shine forth. So I encourage you today to be that leader. I encourage you today, I invite you today to get into that space where all you're about is bringing out the best and that which is hidden in other people. To be a leader like that needs intentionality, helping people see themselves. You have to deliberately set goals to do that, and you have to work hard, stay committed to that, and help people to find what is beautiful about themselves. So, on this note, I want to go do a summary of what we've talked about. That being a memorable leader, being a leader doesn't mean that when you move out of that space, people will remember you. That you have to be deliberate. And that means knowing yourself as a leader, having a clear direction, being able to align the resources you need, and being consistent and staying committed so that the whole essence of leadership is embodied in you. And when people think about a leader, they think about you. We also talked about getting to know people on a personal level, getting to be vulnerable, getting to let your head down, let down your guard. Be willing to let down your guard. Be willing to share your story, share your failures, share your frailties with your team so that they know who you are. We also talked about telling stories, that people remember stories more than data and figures and numbers. And so if you want to share yourself as an accomplished leader, tell stories. And people remember the stories. And we said, when you tell those stories, remember not to be the hero of your story. Remember to deflect glory to your team, to all of the help that you have had, to the mentors who have supported you, to the books you have read, to the resources that have brought you to where you are. Tell those stories. And finally, we said, remember to stay engaged with people. And remember to shine the light, shine the spotlight on other people, bring out the best in people. Because, like the popular saying goes, people will not know, will never care about what you know. What they will remember is how you made them feel, how you made them feel valuable, how you brought out the best in them. So, knowledge is power. I'm hoping that at the end of these 30 minutes, you understand your purpose as a leader. You understand that the whole essence of leadership is not about you, it's about other people. When you have that mindset, that every single day, everything you do in terms of leadership should be focused on other people, that will be the beginning of your greatness as a leader. So, that is my presentation for today. Thank you very much for having me. And if we get questions, we can talk some more and then we can move on from there. Over to you, Joy. Once again, thank you.
Is your team ready to soar to new heights? At CTO Africa Leadership, we specialize in transforming potential into performance. Whether it's mastering winning with people, enhancing emotional intelligence, decoding human behavior, or strengthening team leadership, we've got you covered. Dive into personal leadership and elevate your corporate governance standards. Our tailor-made programs are designed to unlock your team's full potential. Don't settle for ordinary. Be extraordinary. Book a discovery call with CTL Africa today, and let's design a development program that transforms your team. Visit our website www.ctlafricaleadership.com.
Okay, thank you so much, Doc. It was a really insightful presentation. I can see some comments and questions coming in through the chat. So this is a very important topic. I mean, when you started and you said, "Would you be remembered or would you be forgotten?" I just started reflecting on that, because sometimes we don't think about it. We feel like we want to do our part and then we leave. But then why are some leaders remembered and why are some others also remembered? And for me, the part that hits very hard for me was also when you said you are not just remembered, but you are emulated. Your whatever you've done is still being lived by. That is the standard. I think that is what I am aiming for, so that when you are long gone, it's not just, oh, do you know about this leader? Yes, but then we still follow your principles. We still mention quotes about you. And most of us know some leaders who have been forgotten and some leaders who have been remembered. So thanks for sharing those nuggets. And then you also explained to us the DAC model, which at least gives us something to categorize how we're going to do this. So you talked about direction, making sure we are clear about the vision and where we're leading the people to, as well as communicating, you said, in real time. So you don't communicate once at the beginning of the year and then you communicate at the end of the year. But in real time, people know where they are going to. And then you also talked about the A, which is alignment to the vision, which I think would encapsulate your culture, how people, follow these principles. Then you talked about the C, which is staying committed to the vision, being connected to the people, ensuring that you are not just leading, but leaving a legacy, but you're leaving something inside of them, which I thought was also very powerful. Thank you so much. So I'll just bring, please share your questions and your comments. Keep them coming in. I'll bring Sarah, Jessie, and Sam on screen so that we can just begin to ask a few questions. I know Sarah has some questions for you, and then we'll be able to take this to a whole new level. Yes, I see Natalie beginning to put some questions in there. So please keep them coming. Okay.
All right.
Sarah? Yes.
Yeah.
Let me leave the floor for you to start with the questions.
Okay. So many. I took lots of notes, and I like the fact that there were three things that really I liked. Said the leader you know, and you tell, and you perceive a good leader, right?
Mm,
And leadership is a muscle that you need to be exercising every day. And I just love the metaphor that Therese used, the accordion, that
mm,
you can stretch
yes.
it out to rule the kingdom. So leadership and even what do you call it?
Is
She
Sarah
said,
frozen or I'm frozen?
You are frozen, Sam. We can hear.
"You're president." You can shrink it to organize a birthday party. So the breadth of leadership is so wide in it. So anywhere that we are as leaders, we are leading. We shouldn't shirk away from that. And the dark model definitely is a good framework for all of us to follow. And also sharing or really shining the light on other people, be the sun, be the candle as leaders to bring out the best in people and the storytelling, making other people the heroine or the hero is really, really powerful. What I love also is the fact that there is one leader, even though she was not my favorite leader, she was the one who found the potential in me to become a coach. So if I'm a coach, it's thanks to that leader. And she really came to mind today. So thank you, Therese, for making me think again about her in this light because she has really helped me to see my potential. And that is something I'm taking with me to also give to people I work with, people that I interact with. So let me ask you, Therese. Now, my question. Let me ask you, Therese, who would you say had been a great mentor for you, who really brought out all these qualities that you are sharing with us today? Which leader comes to mind?
Okay, so thank you so much. I have learned about leadership from so many people. First of all, I would say that I think I began to be interested or be very intentional about leadership when I spent several months at the Center for Creative Leadership in North Carolina. CCL, that's all they do, the leadership development. And I spent time there. Of course, when you talk about who has mentored me, it doesn't have to be an individual, right? And of course, I do have individuals, but that was my journey because when I got into CCL, one of the things I noticed was that I didn't really see who was the leader coming in as an intern, I just noticed that things were moving well. Everywhere there was organization. People just went about their business. And when I finally got introduced to the VP or the main guy, and I asked him, "How do you do this? How do you? I never saw you. I was here for over 8 weeks, and I never saw you for once, and everything was working smoothly." And he said to me, "I set the goals, and I get out of people's way. I create the vision, I create the goal, and then I get out of people's way." And that, for me, that was the turning point of what leadership is about. That as a leader, you don't need to micromanage. Set the goal, set the vision, get the team together, get out of their way, and allow them to move on. And your role then is to support. Your role then is to be the person they run to when they run into problems. Your role is to be the person who provides the resources. Don't send them to the farm without a hoe, right? So give them the resources they need and be there to mentor, to guide. Now, currently at this point, I have a mentor, and that would be my mandate secretary. I talk about her a lot, Dr. Dolapo, Ade Dolapo. She is the commissioner for health. That would be the equivalent in other states. In the FCT, we call them health secretaries. She came into a system that wasn't expecting her. And the way she moved in, gently, listening, learning, and just allowing the process to unfold without forcing, and then getting people to see the vision and to accept her, it's been incredible, because I know what it means to bring someone from outside into a system and everything goes haywire, everything falls apart. She managed that process so well. And for me, it was an incredible transition to see that happen. And so I observed the way she listens. I observed the way she's not feeling like she knows everything. I observed the way she's willing to change direction if she feels that things are not working. And so for me, at this moment, she is a model that I'm watching after, I'm looking out and studying her very closely. And like I shared earlier on, in the last 2 weeks, I just moved into a new team and started leading there. And of course, I have learned to understand that this was a team that was on ground. And I can't come in there and pull everything aside and start all over again. I have to learn how to segue into that team and allow things to unfold while building my own structure. So those were, I think I read a lot of books. I love to listen to a lot of, I've been following the leadership platform for several months now. So I'm constantly learning from one person or the other. If you come to my library, you're going to see lots and lots of books on leadership. So I would say that it is just learning from people. And of course, Toastmasters has been a great ground for learning leadership, for learning that leadership is about listening. Leadership is about stepping up when there are gaps. Leadership is about filling the gaps. Leadership is about not having to know everything, but finding someone who knows, right? So that would be my question. I hope it wasn't too long for such a short question.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant. You gave us more.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Sam, I'll defer to you now, and I can see some questions coming up, so we don't take all the time. Over to you, Sam.
Right. I thought Joy was going to take those questions, then I will continue. Joy, you want to check on your audience and see what they are saying?
Definitely.
Because it's been great. And if I start, we won't finish.
Yes, so we have Olivia sharing some comments there when you were talking about always shining your light. She put a comment there that yes, these are lessons, values of leadership and relationship, details from my birth mom of blessed memory. Then we also have Isaac Ayiku Kwashi, who says, my take home is to be intentional about bringing out the best in others. That's his takeaway. And then we have Natalia. Natalia says, yes, the essence of leadership is about service to mankind. or to other people. So these are some of the nuggets that are coming out from the discussion today. Natalia has a question, and she likes to rephrase it. Said, "Is it good? Is there a good leader without many followers, and why?" That's the question. Is there a good
Can you
leader?
take that again? Is
Is
there a
there
good
a good
leader?
leader without many followers, and why? That's Natalia's question. I think two more questions, and then maybe let me take the second one as well so that you take the two together. And the other question is, how do you deal with ungrateful people who fail to appreciate your investment in their lives? That's a big question. Okay, so you can take those two, then we move on from there.
Okay. So the first question is about, do you have, can you be a good leader if you don't have many followers, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I think my answer to that would be, it's not about the number of followers you have, but it's about the influence that you can exert. Can you get people to change their minds about something? Can you get people to tow a path they never thought about? Can you get people to do something different? Can you get people to move from one place to another? If you're able to have influence and really shift things. Now, the way I look at it is, remember that leadership exists everywhere, okay? In a team, you can have leadership at the top, leadership right in the middle, leadership right at the bottom. Even the cleaner, even someone who's cleaning, somebody who is sitting in the elevator and pressing the button, he or she has leadership roles to play, right? Now, people may not be following them in the sense of followers, right? But they are influencing things. They make things happen in their own way. So I think it's about the influence that you have, the influence that you exert in your own sphere of of power, right? Your own 15%
Yeah.
solution. Okay, so because usually there are all sorts of things that people, when you're thinking about achieving things, there, this person needs to bring this point, but your personal responsibility is usually referred to as your 15% solution. If you exert your 15% solution, there are so many people that you can influence. And if you're able to do that at that moment, then you are a great leader, and that's good enough. And remember that the leadership role you play in your home will be different from the leadership role you play in your place of worship. It will be different from the leadership role you play in the playground, in the club, in the church, in the your mosque or your worship space, right? So the leadership shifts and changes. And at some points you fall into the role of following the leader. And at some point you have to step in and take the lead role. Your capacity to recognize when to step behind and allow someone else to lead, and when to step up and lead, is also a great skill. So I don't think you should follow. You should think about, it's not like Instagram where you have 1 million followers and then you're popular. I think it's about the influence you
Yeah.
exert. Again, if you're unable to influence people for any reason, you might need to reconsider your leadership approach, especially if you have a great idea, you have a great project, you have a great product, but nobody else seems to be aligning behind you. You might need to think about, okay, how am I communicating this? Because sometimes it might be the way you're communicating and people just resist. People put barriers, or you create barriers based on how you are communicating. So I think you should focus on being on the influence you have than on how people are following you. The next question is, how do you deal with ungrateful people who don't appreciate what you put in their lives? So at this point, it's no longer about you. At this point, you have a bit. They are the losers. One of the greatest things you can do is to be grateful for opportunities that are given to you. So think about it that way. When you appreciate something, you get more of it. It's a no-brainer. When you thank someone, you get more of it, or whatever they're giving you. So when they don't appreciate you, what they have lost is that you are less motivated to do more for them. You are less motivated to give them those opportunities. You are less motivated to share further resources with them. So it's about what they're losing. But you on your own, your role is to shine that light when the opportunity comes. Someone deserves, or someone, an opportunity is fit for someone, by all means, share it with them. If they don't appreciate it, they are the losers. Because truly, you will be, it's human nature. You will just be less likely to send an opportunity their way again. So, for all of us, the idea and the takeaway is appreciate. When someone sends you a resource, someone opens a door for you, someone makes a recommendation, someone gives you whatever it is, an idea, a link, a network, a connection, show appreciation again and again and again. And you'll be surprised at many more doors that open from that same source. That would be my
Wow.
answer.
Those are two powerful answers. Wow, you hit it right on the head. Because I've heard a lot of people complain about, the investment they put in others, and they get bitter with time. But you just put it rightly. It's not about you at this point. You've done your bit, so you just keep moving forward. I think there are a few questions also coming in, so I'm going to go straight to them so we can take them. Vivian Azuka Nwachkwu Magnus. She says, "This is so refreshing, Dr. Teresa. This is so refreshing. Dr. Teresa is empathetic and well groomed. I wanted to find out how she was able to grow in leadership, public speaking, and medicine." Talking about your personal growth. Yes, and then I think so. You can take that one, but then Natalie is also appreciating you for the feedback and the answers you gave. So maybe you can share a little bit about how you have groomed yourself, your personal growth journey, both on the public speaking side and your profession as a medical doctor.
All right. So I'll talk about public speaking, because I tell people, if there's something that has taken me from point A to point B in a short time, to places that I would normally not have been to, it would be the power of public speaking. It would be the skill of public speaking. I remember, and I think, I've always loved to talk. I just wasn't very good at it. I've always enjoyed, just engaging with people, just having conversations with people, right? But I found out that there was so much that I needed to learn, and the turning point came the first day I went into a Toastmasters club. I tell this story that my greatest feeling at that moment was a feeling of coming home. Like, I went into that, it was just a small library in New Orleans. And I went into this library, and there were like maybe 10 people. And I just sat there, and all I could think of was, I'm home. This is where I want to be. This is where I needed to be. Where has this been all my life, right? I didn't know where this was going and all of that, but I just knew that I felt comfortable in that environment. And I just logged in immediately, and I went on. And of course, I kept learning the ropes, of course, and just putting myself out there, taking, going through the projects, and of course, or okay, I thought the network was throwing us out, and also paying for trainings beyond Toastmasters. I've paid for trainings. I've paid for the world class speaking coaching course with Gray Valentine, which certifies you as a speaking coach. I've been fortunate enough to speak at the semifinals of Toastmasters. And so these were platforms that kind of built my skills and built my speaking muscles, and allowed me to just grow and learn along the way. And of course, I've watched so many people, keep learning from so many people. So that would be it. And Toastmasters is a platform that allows everyone who is interested to just learn the leadership roles, because what it does is everyone is volunteering. So you learn the skills to manage people who you're not paying to do anything, right? I mean, if I'm your boss in the office, I can tell you to do something, and you have to do it, right? But when you're volunteering, you have different skills are needed. different skills to inspire. You have to go to the level of inspiring people. You have to go to the level of motivating people. You have to go to the level of being empathetic. I don't know which of those words is correct, but I'm sure my audience knows what I'm trying to say, right? Showing empathy, connecting with people. It's no longer about force. Like I said, put your boss vibes aside, right? There's no boss vibes needed when you are trying to get people to do things in a volunteer organization. And so you keep learning, you keep learning. And I tell people that Toastmasters prepares you for life outside the club. So you might get a lot of whatever it is you're doing. The real test is outside the club, in real life, in your workspace. That's where you see the fruits. That's where you get the feedback, whether you're doing well or you could do better. So that would be, and again, like I said, I keep engaging. Once I hear that word leadership, I'm going to click that link. I'm going to go to that program. I'm going to want to engage because like I started saying, everything falls on leadership. If a team is going to perform, if a team is going to be superlative, leadership is vital. So that's how I have just keep going, and I keep learning. And again, like I engage with the leadership platform. Every time I log in, I'm getting a lot. I'm taking notes. And I'm like, wow, okay, I didn't know this. So there's always room to keep learning.
Wow, you keep learning. Uncle Sam, let me pass it over to you. We just have one more question we'll take after your comments.
Great. Thank you so very much, Teresa. It's been great. My takeaways, plenty of them, but one of them that stands out is reflect the glory to the team. Shine the spotlight on others. Those really are my big takeaways. And you gave the illustration of the sun. When the sun shines on anything, the sun is not in the shadows, and that is true. It's important that we are focusing on other people. Now, lately in Ghana, the big discussion recently in Ghana is who is the founder of Ghana. And as you were speaking about how to leave memories, I'm sure that this is a question that you'll be surprised as a Nigerian, but of course, who is the founder of Ghana? Teresa, who is the founder of Ghana? The whole of Africa has named Dr. Kwame Nkrumah as the founder of Ghana. But some people
I think, yes, if I'm to think about Ghana, the person that comes to mind is Kwame Nkrumah. So
absolutely. Nobody is going to talk about anything
that's
else.
The leader you're going to.
But some people are forcing us to remember other people that we don't even know. You see what I mean? It's true that a lot of people have done a lot of work.
If you think about South Africa,
you talk about Nelson Mandela, it's as if he's the only person. But why is it that Nelson Mandela is remembered all over the world? Why is it that the whole of Africa voted Kwame Nkrumah the leader of the millennium, and not the other people that we have been forced in Ghana to think about? It doesn't mean they didn't do anything. They did things, and men, women, and others fought for independence. People died. But why is Nkrumah so memorable? And the things that you've taught here about direction, about alignment, about commitment, we can see all that. That yes, when people were fighting for independence, others were fighting, but he came in with a new energy and he was focused on what the people want. They want independence now. Some people were saying, no, independence later. They even went to write to the Queen to say that we are not ready. And we don't remember their names anymore. But the one who stood and fought and was committed and was prepared to work to liberate the people and give them a fresh air, is the one we remember. So when we were talking about how leaders are remembered, that's the name that actually came to my mind. And when Nkrumah was doing all these things, I don't think he was thinking about himself and thinking of how he'd be remembered. And for me, that is also very, very important, that as leaders, what you're doing is not about you. is what am I contributing? What change am I bringing onto the table? How am I helping other people? And when you've done your job, you're gone. Leave who will remember you to the generations after you. Your work will follow you. People will remember you for what you have done, impacted into their lives, and not anybody will come and tell you to remember Sam or to remember Sarah or Teresa. What you've done today, what everybody is taking away, is what is going to make them remember Therese. Oh, I learned this from the leadership platform. When you were coming to speak, you didn't come with the intention of, I'm going to say something so that people will remember me. No, you're sharing from your heart. And that for me is the big one that I'm taking away. And you talk about be deliberate in treating people well. And that is actually true. If you treat people, and as somebody has said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And it's not what you do for people, it's how you make them feel. That is what leaves memories. And I just wanted to emphasize on those points. And I think Joy was saying there are some questions. Joy, you want to come back, or you want me to continue? And Magnus is saying that, wow, thank you so much, Dr. Teresa, for being the breath of fresh air in medicine. I truly enjoy. And by the way, let me just support your position on Toastmasters. And you and I met in Abuja in May in a Toastmasters district meeting where we have about 19 or so countries from Toastmasters meeting. It was powerful, it was energy. And everybody who is on this platform, if you really want to develop yourself intentionally, that is one platform. It's the cheapest platform you can go on to develop yourself. And call me, just give me a shout, give me a note, leave your number on the platform, because I'm currently the area director for one of the areas in Toastmasters where I have 4 clubs that I lead. And I joined Toastmasters like 2 years ago. Although I tell them that I've been talking all my life, now I'm speaking for impact. So it changes the way you do things. And I want to encourage everybody, if you're on this platform and you really want to develop yourself, you want to grow, you want to improve your communication, you want to improve your network. Teresa and I just met. As she introduced in the subject, we were just talking like this in 2-minute chats. And then we connected with each other. We saw that we had the same aspirations of impacting people. And here we are. She's always on the platform with us. So I see Magnus has put his contact in the platform. So I think this is Nigeria, but we'll take that number and we'll reach out to you. And there are so many clubs in Nigeria also. There's my club here, it's virtual. You can join us. We're meeting on Wednesday also. So thank you so much, Joy. I think Therese is
Yeah.
falling off, but I
Yeah,
give
I'm
it
sure
back to
she
you.
would
You
still
can go
come
back
back.
to the point.
But Sam
Yes.
and Joy, there's one thing that Teresa really said that is really key, saying
Yeah.
that you need to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to grow, you need to
Absolutely.
invest in yourself. That investment, yes, there are other things that are there free. The leadership platform is there, Toastmasters. You need to invest a little bit of money in yourself, and we shouldn't shy away from really
Absolutely.
budgeting that.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So, Joy, over to
Yes.
you.
So I don't know if you've taken
Therese is joining, but I
Dr.
can't see her face.
Yes, she would have to rejoin, reconnect. Her video is not connected. Yeah. But I
Yeah.
don't know if Sarah and Sam, you would want to maybe take a go at Reverend Ayuku's
Yeah.
question on how do leaders motivate themselves when they don't get the needed results. That's question one. And okay, let me just pop it up on the screen. How do leaders motivate themselves when they don't get the needed results? And two, I'd be glad if our resource person can talk briefly about leadership and health. So maybe you can take a go at the first part, motivating
Okay.
yourself when you are not getting the results that you're looking for. And I'll get this.
Sarah, you want to start?
Okay. Yeah, I will start motivating yourself. The thing is that it takes me all back to what Simon Sinek says. Why? You begin with why. Why are you doing what you are doing? Why did you get into that leadership space? Why
Yeah.
did you set that vision? So revisit your why. Once you go to the beginning, you that will help you understand where you wanted to go, because it's not everybody who will catch your vision. As Sam rightly said, with Nkrumah, when he was doing whatever he was doing in our country, most people did not catch the vision. But still, he persisted. He knew that this is the end result, seeing the end from the beginning. So if you stay true to your why, that will keep you on the right track. That is one way that I will go about it. Sam, if you have any additions to that, that would be great.
Y- Yes, Reverend, thank you for Shikamo, like we say in your country, Tanzania. Reverend Aiku, how are you doing? How is that? Salam. I know it's late there. This is 8
Yeah.
o'clock, so it's 11 p.m. So I just want to congratulate you for staying up so late on the leadership platform and not just listening, but also asking such important questions. How do you keep yourself motivated? And Rev, I just want to share our story on the leadership platform and our story at CTL Africa Leadership. When I left the bank, and I tell people I left a lot of money on the table, and I started the leadership platform, and I started CTL Africa Leadership here. I mean, this is 7 years, 8 years on. Joy, are we making money? We're still not making money. We are not getting, we're going around and we're asking people. People are still not getting the message that we are trying to bring. But we have a, like Sarah is saying, we have a why. We
Yeah.
know why we are here. We know that Africa needs leadership. We know that Ghana needs leadership. We know that the leadership we are having today is not what we want. Look at what is going on around us. Look at Kenya, how the young people are clamoring for good leadership. They went to Uganda, they are fighting. Nigeria, 10 days, they are on the streets, they are looking for leadership. In Ghana, I saw the IGP is going to court to stop the young people. Why are we stopping people from asking for simple things as good leadership?
Yeah.
If you know your why, these are the things that motivate us. When every day I meet young people in Ghana and they cannot have the basic things. And you think about it, look at the resources God has put into this continent. And all we need is some good leadership. And we go out there and sign deals and pocket money so that foreigners will come and take the resources from here. Come on. These are the things that motivate us. So if you know your why, if you know why you are in the game and it's not for you, but to be able to make a contribution to the world, when you know why you are in the game to better the lives of people, when you know you want to make a change, transformation, my brother, you keep going. You keep going. You fall down 100 times and you get up 1,000 times and keep going. So for me, that is what keeps me going. Some of my friends ask me, Sam, what is it that, I mean, they cannot understand that we have done the leadership platform consistently every week for free. They ask me, how do you finance this? Because this is not for free. I said,
Oh, why?
this is just passion.
Yeah. We want to see a better Africa.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. All right. So, I mean, Dr. Teresa, I don't know if you
This
can
is
hear me, but the second part,
passion because I went
the
to the
second part,
platform to learn. Cut
I
off
can hear you.
briefly, Joy.
oh,
I
yes,
give
yes,
over
yes.
to you, and I see Doc is back. So, Doc, we were holding the fort for
Yeah.
you. The network keeps
Yes, I went
misbehaving,
off.
so
I don't know.
we went off
That's okay.
briefly. No, it was an
Yes, yes,
electronic break. All right.
yes.
That's
So there was
fine.
a second part to the question that Sam was answering about how leaders keep themselves
Mm-hmm.
motivated. And um, Dr. Reverend Ayuko would want to find out from you if you can talk briefly about leadership and health, maybe just briefly. Let me just pop that up again on the screen so that you can take a look at it.
Okay. Okay. So, okay, Sam has answered the second part, the first part, which is when you don't get
Yes.
results. Has he
Yeah.
talked about that?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
All right, fine. So this is to talk about leadership and health.
Yes.
Leadership and health. All right. So there's so many ways my mind is going in so many directions now. Is it leadership and personal health?
And by the way, Doc, you're
If
going
you
to
think
talk about
it
that
way.
fully in another session. But give Reverend Ayuku just a gist of how you're
Okay.
leading briefly how you're impacting
That's
people's
fine.
life through your
So
medical
you could think about
practice.
leadership. Okay. Okay. You could think about, is it leadership and personal health? How do you stay healthy? You could think about it that way, which means what do you need to do? And that of course that comes with that self-leadership and self-discipline, where you have to discipline yourself in your diet, in your exercise, in your mental health, your emotions, and how you keep the other aspect could be leadership and the health system, right? And that happens to be a system that I play in. And I think, like I said, you can use the DSC model in any situation. So the first thing would be, what is your goal? What's your vision in the sphere that you have? Of course, health is huge. Are you talking about public health?
Yeah. Electronic breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe whilst you're waiting for Doc to come back, why don't we take Natalia's question? Natalia had a question. Yeah.
Do
That
that.
has
Let's do that. Okay, so Natalia also, I think that's a follow-up to her question. She says, when a leader decides to favor people in the wrong direction, is that leader still leading or a failure? I think that that leader has failed. Actually, she has answered her own question. Yeah, when a leader decides to favor people in the wrong direction, is that leader still leading or a failure? And she answers her question to say, I think that leader has failed.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think there was another question that she said, what if your team aren't ensuring the level of
Okay.
commitment you envision?
Okay, that's another question. Yeah.
And Natalia is our top contributor this time around.
Yes. Cheers.
Yeah. Natalia is always, whenever she has come on the board, she's been very active. Okay, so congratulations, Natalia. Thank you so much. Really, and you are right. I mean, if you are a leader and you're just lost your way, okay, so nobody actually should be following you. So you're absolutely right. And but if the team is not getting the commitment and
Okay, Sam is also having electronic challenges.
Okay. All right. So I think we just have a few things to wrap up. So maybe Sarah, I don't know if you want to just answer that for Natalia before we go.
Okay, let me read the question. What if your team aren't ensuring the level of commitment you envision when you do your part and you get off their way? Okay, what I'll say is that it's like a bus, right? As a leader, you are the one who is showing the way, giving the direction. So it means your resources, the human resources, are not very much aligned with your vision. So sometimes it's very tough for us leaders to take the decision to take people off the bus.
Yeah.
Taking those people off the bus and focusing on those who are committed. It's better to get a few people who are committed and move steadily in the vision that you have set than have a whole bunch of people who will dilute and really mess up what things are. So it's a decision time of us to be very decisive as leaders, to know people who are committed to us and separate the jewels from the chaff. That will be my answer.
Yes, Aaron, you are right. There are some, it's not everybody who can go on the journey with you.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah.
started CTL Africa, a few people have joined and they have left. And a
Mm-hmm.
few people we have asked to go. Why? Because it's not everybody who can go on the journey with you. And the people cannot go on the journey doesn't mean they are bad people. It's either because they're not sold on the vision, and if they're not, that is not something you want to. Those people you can't keep them on the bus, or they don't have the capacity. Some people are just not able to cope with what you're doing. And so, if they don't have the ability, there again, you cannot force them to be able to do. You can train to some level, but if they don't have the capacity for what you want to do, then you should allow them to go. So it's not everybody who will take the journey with you. So just let's get it that way. Let's go with the people who are willing to go with us and who have the capacity and the willingness, because there's a will and the capacity. You do need those two to have the right team players, people who are willing and people who
Yeah.
are able. And if they're not willing, that one is serious. If they're not willing, there is nothing you can do. If they're not able, you may be able to give some training and coaching and help them to be able, for as long as they are willing. So, Natalia, that will be my addition to that, your question. So, thank you so
Right.
much.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the network keeps misbehaving, and Doc has fallen
Also
off,
dropped off.
but
Yeah.
maybe he'll come back. But I think we've done some good job discussions
Yeah.
here, and I see Olivia has some comments there.
Yeah, she said interesting comment about the why. It's a very meaningful equation. Am I right? Is a very meaningful equation that CTL falls 100 times, yet gets up, stands up 1,000 times. Great equation. You fall 100, you rise 1,000 times.
Yeah.
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 We're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep pushing until we see impact. We see we make a difference. If you look at our logo, we say we are here to make a difference. So until difference is made, we are going nowhere, and we just continue to ask all of you to continue to support. You can visit our website, explore all the options available for you to grow, ctlafricaleadership.com. I mean, we'd love to see you at Live to Lead. We'd love to see you in our different programs. And that's how you support us to make this vision a reality. And for you being here is a testament to the fact that something is being done about making a difference when it comes to leadership on this continent. So we're glad you're here to support. I mean, Tete Jr. says he will want to volunteer at CTL. I'm happy to see that and would definitely be in touch after this program. And I appreciate your comment right there. All right. Yes, so thank you so much. I think we've come to a very good end of the program, and I still see your comments come through. If you haven't yet shared with us your takeaway from this session, sometimes it's always important to reflect on that one thing you're going to be taking action on. If you don't make a commitment, you go out there and forget everything that you've learned. So make a commitment with us, put it in the comments. Let's see what you're going to be doing different to become a memorable leader in your space of work, in your home, and in your community. Okay, so thank you, Sarah Jesse.
Yeah,
Any
I
last words
think
from you?
yeah, one important question from One Day Born 2024. I think
Yeah.
that needs to be answered. Saying being a leader means you know everything better than those you are leading. No, the answer is no. The answer is being a leader is being even vulnerable, saying you don't know everything, but those around you also have things to contribute. And it's your ability to draw out that potential from areas that is not your strength, get it from the people around you to ensure that you coordinate that to get the results that you're looking for. I'll give a practical example. Maybe I'm not good at IT, and Joy is good at IT. I don't know everything. So I have to be able to get that potential or that collaboration, my ability to do so, getting Joy to work on that IT part for me coordinating that and getting the results that we are looking for is
Yeah.
what makes me a leader. So you don't have to know everything, and being clear about the fact that you are also willing to learn.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. I think a few people have also shared, expressed some interest with Toastmasters. So please expect a message from us on Facebook. I see Vivian says she wants to join the community and learn more about Toastmasters. And then we'll be able to at least point you in the right direction. Okay. I
Do we
think that
have a
should,
number or something?
Yeah, I think she
so
shared
that's,
her number earlier on. Yeah, she did
yes,
share her
yes,
number.
up
She
in the
said a
comment.
number.
She
Yes,
has.
yes, she
Okay,
did. Yeah,
thank
it's
you.
Okay, so
234. Yeah,
can we take
seven.
the number? What's the
Yeah,
name again? I didn't see it.
That's
Vivian
Vivian.
Azuka. Let me copy it and put it in our chat. I'm copying it and put it
Oh, I
in
see
our.
that. Okay, I've taken that one.
Yes.
Vivian.
Oh,
Yes, yes, that's it.
Magnus. Okay,
yeah.
Yes.
I've taken that one.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Right.
So thank you. I just have a few quick announcements, then we'll be out of here. Thank you everyone so much for connecting, joining us tonight for this very special time of learning. So my first announcement would be to reintroduce the book of the month. So I've started rereading this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, by Robert. It's a very popular Kiyosaki. It's a very popular book. And I mean, just going through this again, I read it some years ago, and I'm just taking my time to digest the nuggets a bit more. So I hope you join us in reading this book for the month. And at the end of the month, we'll come back and we'll digest the content and debrief. It's a very powerful book if you're looking to learn about money, how money works. You can even invite your children to join us to read. People are gifting this book to their children at age 9 because these are things you never learn in school. Nobody teaches you how money works. So we grow up thinking that we have to get a good education, go and work for a company, be an employee, and then save up for retirement, and then that's it. But there are some nuggets here that can help you go beyond that thinking. All right, so hope you join us to read. And then the second announcement would also be on Live to Lead. We'll share a video after this for you to just capture a few of the nuggets and the speakers that will be showing up. But please, please, please do not wait till the last minute. We hear people saying, oh, October is just about 6 weeks away. You do not want to miss it. So please, you can leave a comment in the session. Let us know if you're interested. Just type interested in the comment section. The team will get back to you in the course of the week to assist you to register. If you are in an organization, you're an HR, you are the head of an organization, and you want to bring your executive team, you want to bring your leaders, your branch managers, please leave a message with us in the comments and we'll get in touch with you. We're already having some takers from the corporate space, from the nonprofit space coming in, and you don't want to miss out. Okay, and I think that one quick last announcement. Most of you who know Mami Sewa, the curator of Finding the Person Called Me, she's been on this platform and she promised us that there was going to be a special discount for our TLP audience. And so Mami Sewa is giving a 12% discount on her upcoming project. Starting in the next 2 weeks, I think starting in next week, and it's going to be for 2 weeks. So let me just put her flyer up there. So when you call the number or you WhatsApp the number on the flyer, 055-120-4407, let them know you are coming from the leadership platform, and then you would get a 12% discount on this particular masterclass. So Mami Sewa was here. She shared with us her concept of finding the person called me, and she's running this masterclass, and she's offering anybody who is coming from the leadership platform a 12% discount. Amazing. I will drop the link in the chat where you can also register, or just send a WhatsApp, a hello to that number, and then she'll be in touch. Okay. All right. So I don't know if Doc is back on. I would like her to just give us her pattern shots, a few seconds, her concluding and final words before we go. Okay, if it doesn't, I just hope it works. But if it doesn't, hello, Doc. Can you hear me?
Hello. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
My network just crazy.
Yes. So are you able to just give us your final words before we say goodbye to you?
So, yeah. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry I lost you there.
Yes. Okay. So are you able to share your final words with us?
All right. So if you can hear me, I think we might need to just sign off because the network is really not helpful.
Yes. Okay. All right. That's
so
okay.
The earlier we sign off, the better. Yes. While we have an opportunity.
Okay. Yes. So we just want to appreciate you for coming. So much
for the
love.
person who asked about the leadership and health, maybe some other time we can take that question. Like Sam said, we will have an opportunity to talk about leadership and health. So I look forward to that.
Yes. So just your signing off message. But then if that's not possible, we'll just say thank you to you for your time, for your knowledge sharing. We really enjoyed the session. There's been so many comments, even when you dropped off, many comments and questions that have come through. We'll be able to share that with you after the session. So God bless you, and hope to have you here on another episode.
That'd be lovely.
Of the leadership platform. Lovely. Have a good night. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. We wish you a good night and a good rest of your weekend, and hope to see you again next week, Saturday, for another episode of the Leadership Platform. My name is Joy Bozushmutz again, and I'm always glad to have you on this show. All right. Good night, everybody.
There's something in human nature that compels us to strive for the next level. Whether you're working from a corner office or a kitchen table, we all share the desire to improve ourselves and those around us. Live to Lead is an event designed to ignite that desire into action. This global gathering brings together people from over 30 countries to hear from some of the world's most influential leaders and speakers. Featured speakers: John C. Maxwell, a #1 New York Times best-selling author and Horatio Alger Award winner. Shanti Lowe, a 4-time Olympian, world record-holding high jumper, and gold medalist who has inspired millions with her story on platforms like ESPN and the O Network. Michael Jr., comedian who brings laughter and encouragement to audiences worldwide, inspiring them to discover and activate their purpose. John Gordon, author of 15 bestsellers including The Energy Bus, The Power of Positive Leadership, and The Carpenter. Chris Robinson leads a team of over 50,000 speakers, trainers, and coaches worldwide. Local speakers: Kwame Pianim, renowned economist and former government official. David Ofosu-Dorte, legal consultant and executive chairman, AB and David Law. Akosia Bami, author, entrepreneur, ED&I specialist, leadership consultant, mindset coach, and public speaker. Samuel K. Ayim, Chief Leadership Coach, CEO of CTL Africa, and legal consultant. And our surprise guest to be announced. This is your chance to grow personally, develop your leaders, and connect with other leaders with a growth mindset. Are you ready, Ghana?